left, nothing safe, not even a crust. All aboard for a fat boy trip, and you can call me captain. Don't forget the paper plates and the stack of napkins. P-I-C-C-A, P-A-R-T-Y. P-I-C-C-A, P-A-R-T-Y. Pizza party, pizza party. Gonna have a good time. Pizza party, pizza party. Have a sip of red wine. Yeah!
Ciao, paisans! Happy New Year! Holy cow! Friends, we made a whole year together. Can you believe it? This time last year, I was fresh out of the oven with a little marinara behind the ears. I didn't know what I was doing, and I made all wonderful friends with you, and we're back. This is, I don't know, like episode 12, 13, however time works. It's wonderful to see you. You look, let me see. Oh, you got a new haircut for the new year. Looking good, smelling good. It looks like Santa brought you some new shoes over there. Wonderful. Well, it's great to see all of you. And my, is it interesting times out there in Dice Land, in Spaghetti Land, and everything in between. Holy cow. Let's talk about that. I was talking through my Ouija board, of course, to my old friend, Mr. Fred Rogers. Remember him? So we were just having a conversation the other night. I had the Nag Champa going. The planchette was spinning all around the Mozzarella Mausoleum. And I said, Fred, I got the episode of 2023 is coming, my first one. Everybody's going nuts out there. All right? We're supposed to be playing games, but everybody's arguing. Everybody's scared. You know what I'm talking about. And he said, friend, I have the perfect quote to start this out there. Freddie says, when I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. To this day, especially in times of disaster, I remember my mother's words, and I am always comforted by realizing that there are still so many helpers, so many caring people in this world. Everything I need to know, I learned from Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Everybody out there making books, rolling dice, worried about the next couple of months. What are you going to put out? Can you even put it out? Do you have to put that page in there? What am I going to do as a third-party publisher? What am I going to do as a party publisher? Relax. The Dark Master has it all under control. Just keep on making stuff. Don't let all this stuff stop you from making stuff. All right? We've been rolling dice since we were knucklehead cavemen. Just do it. All right? Great. Now we move on. I got that out of the way. It's wonderful to see you. I got a cool crew. I got my homegirl, Elena, on the ones and twos. How are you, Elena? Happy New Year. Happy New Year indeed. And I got some of my favorite people in the world. Because this is my thing now. I used to be some of my favorite people in the gaming world. This has become my world. It has come to fruition, and I love it. The gaming world has become my real life world, and everything in between is just a big, awesome meatball of energy. I got Grape Ape himself all the way down there in Texas. Matt Robertson's going to be joining us, and the one and only, the man who comes from Planet X, Levi, is back again. Couldn't make it last time, but they rebuilt him. He's back. He's better than ever. And we're going to be talking about all sorts of nonsense. Dr. Metal is away on business. Okay. There was a heavy metal death match. There is many injured. So he's down there doing the good work of Dr. Metal, rebuilding some bands. He'll be on the next show. And of course, my cousin Marty is upstairs, keeping Nona busy right now, going over the report card he just got. Menza, not so good this semester, but there's always next time. I'm sure he's still getting a slice of her cake. So what are we going to do? I know what we're going to do. We're going to go into the Crypt of Cool 2023 edition. I'll tell you what. I pulled this off on my shelf because I had to do some research the other day. Literally, I was doing research. You can't go wrong with these bad boys. You got yourself a Gong Farmers Almanac. This was the first one I ever got. This is when I was just starting out with DCC. This was up there with like my crawl purchases when I found out about the Gong Farmers Almanac, the 2015 edition. And this, man, oh, I love this. From the font to the content to everything in between. If I was 12 and I knew about, or if this was around back then, I'm telling you, this would have been underneath my leg every trip anywhere we were going, from the grocery store to the mall, in the back of the station wagon. This is beautiful station wagon reading, because every time you open it up, man, you're going to find something cool. Because you want to know why? Because it's a bunch of people. This is a community project, the Gong Farmers Almanac. And they're practically giving these things away. They're very cheap. And you get, how many pages is this one? You know what? I can't even count them, because they got different page numbers for each section, because it's a collection. All right. They come out with the smaller versions of it throughout the year. And then you get the omnibus, like the year's anthology. You got the Kovacs cover. Everyone's a different color for every year. And I'm going to talk about this later on, but I'll tell you, before you do a project, always do your research, because you don't want to step on toes. But I was looking up some vampire stuff on a project that I'm doing, and there is an absolutely beautiful section in here on all sorts of undead creatures. The contributors to this run the gamut, from everybody that you know to people that you haven't heard of. And it's so this is like, I think probably volume 1, 2015. You got volume 1 is Men and Magic, also contained in here. You got Monsters, Treasures, and Patrons, because I remember at the time, Patrons, that was uncharted territory. It still is kind of like the weird shadowy corner of DCC still, isn't it? The Patrons, such a cool thing. Then you got some really nice, some quick adventures, rules and campaign miscellany, and parts 1 and parts 2. This is awesome. Highly recommend it. You can't go wrong with any of them. You're going to find something that's going to tickle your fancy. Check out the Gong Farmers Almanac. You can find it everywhere quality books are sold. There you go. What I got? Oh, I can't forget. If you're just joining us for the first time, hi, I'm Joey Royale. This is the Pizza Party. We talk about DCC and all the crazy stuff that goes along with it. Okay? There. That's out of the way. Next up, I'm changing things up a little bit. I've been getting deep down into Weird Frontiers. That's a big tome. It can be, it makes me a little nervous every time I look at it, because I say to myself, where does this come from? How do I remember all this? You'll be able to make it work once you get the framework. But as I'm doing my research, I always go back to one of my favorite country artists, and one of my favorite just artists in general. Okay? Right here. The man. Chris Christopherson. Right here. Chris Christopherson, The Silver-Tongued Devil and I. This is one of Joey Royale's desert albums. I love this guy so much, I got To Beat the Devil tattooed on my chest. It was like my 5th tattoo. But it's just, do me a favor. After this show, and you'll get the theme as everything comes together. I'm not going to spell it out for you. But if you have time after the show, listen to Beat the Devil by Chris Christopherson. I'm also a huge Johnny Cash fan, more than anybody will ever know. That guy got me out of a lot of dark times. I tried to be him too much in my 20s, and then I got myself out of that. Luckily, I survived, and Johnny Cash's autobiography is one of the best things you could ever read. But he wrote a song for Johnny Cash and June Carter when he was in a difficult time, and it's called To Beat the Devil. And you'll get the theme, because the devil, I don't know about that, all that stuff, but to me, my devil is always saying, that's not good enough. You can't do it. You're a fake, imposter syndrome, this and that. I listened to that during my last project, because it's always good to have a reminder. This album, this man, To Beat the Devil's not on it. I don't have that album. But this has The Silver-Tongued Devil and I. Any song that he writes about the devil is a good one, because it challenges your thinking to do better and to kind of kick all those doubts away. But some really cool stuff on here. You got a couple of songs written by Shel Silverstein. They all knocked around together. The Given Tree and the Light in the Attic and all that, where the sidewalk ends. Check that out. All right. Now, here's another piece of crypto cool that I just got yesterday. I got, by the way, I got COVID. So I'm gonna push all my energy out right now. I'm on my finished my last day of quarantine yesterday. So I've been reading a lot, and this came around. So my friend Joe Gillette, who is the artist for Ninja City, sent me a little reel. He always sends me little pick-me-ups. And he sent me a little reel, and it was a guy doing a sketch of a bird's head, and it was narrated by Rick Rubin. You know Rick Rubin. Come on. Music producer. Beastie Boys. Run DMC. All the greatest. Okay? Johnny Cash. Everybody in between. 9 Inch Nails. But this was the narrative I heard playing over it, and I had to write it down. This is Rick Rubin. My advice I would have would be to not listen to anyone and do what you love, and to make things that you love, whatever it is, that make your favorite things. You be the audience. Make the thing for you, the audience. So Rick Rubin, what's he been doing? I always admired that man. A mystical, almost like an Eastern philosophical figure at this point. Probably a cool guy just to hang out with and shoot the breeze. No, Rick Rubin's not Pee Wee Herman. That's Paul Rubens, for crying out loud. Sky 2. But I went deeper, and this just came out the other day. This is Rick Rubin. I mean, the book is beautiful looking. Just look at that. Classic Rick. The Creative Act, A Way of Being. Oh, my goodness. This is somewhere in between, like, the I Ching and just cool. I can't capture it, guys. It's just cool. And if you ever doubt yourself in terms of you as an artist, all right? I'm not talking about running around with the beret and paint all over your face. Oh, I'm an artist. No. If you create something, you are an artist, okay? And this tells you to be courageous and confident as an artist. He says something here, and we're going to pursue this all throughout the year on the pizza party. As artists, we seek to restore our childlike perception, a more innocent state of wonder and appreciation, not tethered to utility or survival. And isn't that what we do, like as gamers? Untethering ourselves from all that real survival stuff, paying the bills and get on, and we're just getting back to being kids again, getting around the table, like when we used to drink Kool-Aid when it was hot out, and the only thing you had on your schedule was dinner, like 20 hours out of the way. It was like a Country Time lemonade commercial. Even if you had a tough childhood, you had those little pockets, So this year on the pizza party is going to be getting into knowing oneself and embracing that inner child. And all the guests we have on today, to me, really represent people who have stoked my inner child and helped me not grow up too fast. We all have responsibilities. We can't be, we can't be scrubs, not paying the bills and not taking care of our families. But if you know yourself, if you truly know yourself and you make time for yourself, you'll never truly grow up. And you get better at that, and you won't care what people think. Marcus Aurelius. Here we go. If you are ever tempted to look for outside approval, realize that you have just compromised your integrity. So be satisfied just being a philosopher or artist or whatever. And if you need a witness in addition, be your own, and you will be all the witness you could desire. I'm getting there. I'm going to pull this all together in one piece. But I got one more thing I want to share. And once again, the power of community. Have you picked this up yet? You got 4 quarters in your pocket. Do me a favor, if you're a friend of mine, all right? Join me on this journey. Check this out. The Kakando. This is going around online. It's catching fire. The Kakando. Bobby Brinkman. How you doing, Captain Bob? He turned me on to this. All Sanctum Media proceeds from this product go directly to the writer, Ashraf Braden. Ashraf is an aspiring game designer and author living near Kampala in Uganda. Kampala is the capital, if you didn't know. Check this out, all right? This is on drive-through right now, and if somebody's a good friend, they'll put it in the stream. This is $1. In areas around Kampala, it is not uncommon for workers to make as little as $2 a day. By purchasing this product, you are contributing to Ashraf's ability to be able to continue to write and design games by allowing him the financial breathing room to do so. Oh, man. Writer, Ashraf Braden. Cover art, Greg Dees. Editor, Jen Brinkman. Additional content and incidental art, Bob Brinkman. I think I know those two. This is really cool. Now, I'm not just supporting this because this is a good cause. This is creepy. It is a 4-page, not even, 2 interior pages of text. You get a monster, and you get this Yakoma, a sickle stick Ugandan weapon. All right, I'm not going to spill the beans too much because I want you to buy this, and just read it. It's about a very scary entity that haunts children's schools. All right, perfect adventure fodder, especially for a Royale. Check this out. Now, Mr. Brinkman and I want to have a Brinkman Palooza on possibly the next, the February edition, okay, of the pizza party. And Elena, I got to talk to you about a date about that. But there is a chance that we are going to try to pre-record something with Ashraf in Kampala. Well, he's not in Kampala. He's right by Kampala, in Uganda. How cool would that be? That'll be our second continent other than North America will have represented on the pizza party, because we had my friend all the way down in Australia before. So maybe, just maybe, next episode we're going to do a pre-recorded interview with Ashraf, because it's hours and hours of difference. There's no way we can line it up, but we're going to try to make it work. Okay, so in the meantime, do your homework. Buy the Kakando. All right, it's going to be under the Sanctum Secorum label on drive-through. So check that out and help out a fellow DCC artist, creator, and kindred spirit all the way down there in Africa. All right, pretty cool. Now, but luau, wonderful, beautiful. Yeah, Ghosty Squid, they're like 8 hours ahead. So, oh man, we got some awesome thinkers in the chat. But I don't want to lose any time because we are bookended this evening. So let me tell you what's going on. Announcement. I got a new book coming out. Okay. I owe it to you all. I made a fun little thing that I'm excited about. It's called Vampire Blood, a Slayer's Guide for DCC RPG. Over like Christmas break and all that, I went deep, actually since October, I went deep down the Hammer horror hole. Lot of Christopher Lee, lot of Peter Cushing. I took out, and I can't wait to talk to Levi about this, I took out a bunch of my old famous monsters that I haven't cracked in a long time, and I truly embraced, I know we talk about it on here all the time, but truly embraced my inner monster kid. I picked up Transylvanian Adventures. I went back through Gong Farmers Almanac and this module and that module, and just pulling together some classic horror represented in DCC and some other stuff. And it got me thinking, boy, I love vampires. And I'm going through my collection in the Mozzarella Mausoleum, thinking about starting up. And I came upon one of my prized possessions. We were talking about it right before the show started, about Vampire Blood. Came out from Imagineering or Topstone in the 1970s. And if you were a kid like I was back then, you always had a little packet of the fake blood in your pocket. You know, you fall off your bike, Mom, I'm dying. All that kind of stuff we used to do to our poor mothers. So I'm like, hey, Vampire Blood, cool title. I love vampires. I love the Nosferatu vampire. I love the Bram Stoker Dracula. I started to watch Dracula on Netflix. You've seen that series? I highly recommend that. That's a cool one. But there's all different types of vampires. Every culture has some kind of extension of vampire. And I'm not covering them all. I wanted to make a Joey Royale approach to vampires. So I said, okay, let's have some fun. I'm going to bang this out quick. You know, OGL, all that was going on. Like, I just want to get this done. I want to get it done before Zine Quest. I want to challenge myself. I'm not an artist in terms of the physical aspect. So but I want to challenge myself to do some arts. And here's the thing. I was scared. Like, I talk about how awesome DCC is and make all your stuff, but I'm just a regular person like everybody else. And now that I'm kind of in the mix with DCC doing the show, I'm amongst greatness. So I get very nervous in reflecting on, can I create anything as close to cool as, like, you know, Marzio, as Levi, you know, and I was talking to Tim the other day, Timmy D's working on I'm sure he won't mind it. He put it on Facebook. He's working on a tournament module. So he's working on it, and in the middle of it, he read like a Marzio tournament module, and he's like, I can't do this. This is too good. Nah, you got to stop that. We all do our own different things. So I went into this, wanted to make something fun. I wanted to challenge myself, and I just wanted to put something out because I haven't put something out for DCC in a while, and I wanted to say, I'm good enough. I can do this. Somebody's going to laugh. It's going to be cool, and we'll have fun. Got it all done. Did some paintings that I was actually kind of happy with. It all worked. It's childish, but it's cool. Oh, Lou, geez, this guy, you are not creating anything unless you are scared. And that's really one of the points of this diatribe I'm going on. But hopefully, you know, we're all friends. I don't want to talk all about myself, but hopefully this process will help somebody out there. So the process is what it is. I consumed a bunch of media that I liked, and I asked myself, is there anything out there that kind of meets what I want to do right now? No, not really. People have touched upon vampires in gaming since the dawn of time. You got Strahd, you got Vampire and all that. And so I was going to do something fun. I got, like normal, like we all do, I got through it. Things were going good. Writer's block, things got in the way. I got busy, got back on the horse, kept on going. And then, like, you know, a couple weeks into it, I'm like, God, am I wasting my time? It's just like too dumb. Isn't there like vampire stuff already? Does anybody even want vampires? It's DCC. They go on weird stuff. But my wife pushed me. She goes, no, this is your thing. You were so happy a couple days ago. Keep on going. Keep on going. Don't get yourself down. Stop looking at line at everybody else's stuff. And I said to her, I got to look online at else's stuff because I don't want to like inadvertently copy anybody, you know, because it's kind of it's not like a niche thing. It's vampires. So I kept my head down. I kept on going. And then I wanted to build a little suspense. So here's where it happens. I post on the DCC RPG, you know, DCC Rocks thing. Hey, paisans, coming out soon. Vampire Blood, Slayer's Guide. And I made the mistake of going back and looking at the comments because no matter, you can't read context and you don't know everybody. So you don't know where they're coming from. Right. But I took a look at it and I looked at it again before this show, because it was such an educational experience for me. There was 3 types of categories of feedback I got just from saying, hey, friends, coming out with something new, Vampire Blood, blah, blah, blah. And I can categorize the feedback or just whatever if somebody threw up on a wall under 3 categories. Do it this way. Here's how they did it before, and go for it. Okay? You ever have an experience like this? I'm trying to find sociological patterns in like Facebook feedback because you have to, or else you're going to take everything personally and the world burns and you get mad at people, which is not healthy. You never know the context or the tone of the comment. So here we go. Do it this way. Here's how they did it before, and go for it. Took me a little bit of time. I had to go for a walk, had to get some air. Levi posted about go for a walk. I went out for a walk. I took his advice, and it was beautiful because it allowed me to step away and allowed me to think about humanity, kindness, and criticism. Do it this way. Disregard it. It's static. No, I'm going to do it my way with all due respect. All right? You want to do it that way? Go do it. Go in the basement and do it yourself, and I'll buy it from you. Here's how they did it before. Respect. Do your research. Admire and be inspired by people who have gone before you. Look how big their footprints are and what kind of shoes they were wearing and the journey they took, and learn from them. You got to respect that. So that's not a bad thing. Here's how they did it before. Respect. And then go for it. There was only one do it this way, and the rest were all go for it. What do you think is the one I focused on? Do it this way. Oh, I can't do Dracula, throw it in the garbage. And then I got all these awesome people like, hey, I don't care what you do. It's fun. Go out there, have a good time. And it was the Royale, there's a pizza party spirit. And I got blinded by somebody who probably meant well, but I didn't focus on that one. What's the matter with me? They got friends everywhere. Like he says, look for the helpers. They're the only people that are going to put out the fire. Well, don't look for the arsonist. Look for the people with the fire hose. So you're getting into Zine Quest, okay? You're going to want to do stuff. You're on the Dungeon 2332 thing. I'm sorry, I forget. 23, because it's the year, right? It's like working out. Some of you are probably exhausted right now, and you made a good couple of weeks, but you're starting to bottom out. Push yourself. I don't care how scribbly it is, or if you've never done it before, keep on going, because it's going to bring you joy. Here's the realization. I came up with 3 sets of questions I'm going to ask myself now when I get myself in these thought problems. Number 1, when I'm starting out, this is the beginning of the process. What do I like? Does it exist? Am I excited? That's what I'm asking myself. Number 2, now that you're doing the work, you got to learn something with every project that you do. These are not just pleasure cruises. How will this challenge me? Am I prepared for that challenge? What do I want to learn? And once again, am I excited? And then at the end, you look back. Number 3. So who am I? What does this work say about me? Have I even thought about who I am as a creator? Am I excited? You have to be excited you can be anxious, you can be worried, but you have to be excited about what you are doing. This all falls under the umbrella of the overarching question we're going to be exploring all year here on the Pizza Party. Have you let your 12-year-old self know that he or she is still cool? If your 12-year-old showed up at the doorway right now, you as a 12-year-old, all right, in the doorway, would that kid be proud of themselves? Would they be excited for what's coming down the pike? The answer has to be yes. And the only way that's going to be able to happen is if you love yourself and you're confident in being a weirdo and making something. So I got to figure out who I am. All right. And I figured it out all throughout this process. Thank you to every single person. There's only 12 people that posted, do this, don't do this, look at this, or just go for it, because you taught me something. I am a rack toy salesman. I sell the cheap comic books. I sell the knockoff G.I. Joes, the knockoff Masters of the Universe, and I embrace that. I am happy with that. I never went into this with that philosophy, but through this process, I've realized that's who I am right now as a creator. My stuff will never be the best written. My stuff will never be the thickest or the most decorative. It's going to be funny. It's going to have a child's heart to it, and it's going to make me happy because it's going to make some of my close friends happy. Might be a waste of $10 for you, but it was a fun experience for me, my friends, and my family. So that 12-year-old is looking at you. Don't let that 12-year-old down. And remember who that 12-year-old was when you were unshackled by all the horrors of the normal world. Okay? I love you. Make something good, and to hell with the critics. Thank you to everybody who has taught me along the way. Okay. Vampire Blood coming out soon. It's in the mail from Mix'em. That's coming out. Thank you to everybody who's supported Tales from Fairhaven Volume 1. Sold out. Also in the mail. And a reprint of WHPA. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on. I'm still in the game. I'm writing. I'm tossing it around. Joseph has been an amazing inspiration. He gave me the rubber stamp for Vampire Blood. He said, sounds fun. That was the other thing. You know, he's not a man of many words. Sounds fun. Go for it. That's all you need. You don't need a bunch of superfluous stuff like me running my mouth. Sounds fun, Joey. Go for it. Joseph, thank you. I'm going to get that tattooed on my chest underneath the Chris Christopherson quote. All right, here we go. Elena, Cousin Marty scratching at the door like a feline. Can we let him in? Well, I'll put a little on for him today. Marty, how you doing, buddy? I can't hear you, pal. Where are you? The mustache.
Joey, what's going on, my favorite cousin? How's it going?
Nice Christmas, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's so good. I'm giving back to the Hoboken community this year. Hashtag new Marty for 23.
Oh, well, we deserved something after you ate all 7 fishes that night.
Hey.
So what are you giving back?
I opened up Cousin Marty's Wayward Institute for Wild Youths.
Wow, you're really giving Wayward okay, yes, good. Oh, tell me about this. What are you doing now?
So pretty much, the Wayward Youths come in. We got a big VCR on TV, and I put a movie on, and they sit and they don't talk. It's perfect.
I love it. I love it. Indoor recess.
Absolutely.
So what do you got today for us? A little inspiration.
So I got 2 movies for the youths, and then you wanted a movie to watch, so I got one for you too. So the first movie for the Wayward Youths is a heartwarming tale on the 2 brothers on the road. We got Wizard.
Oh, great one. Freddie Savage, Kevin Arnold.
Culminates in the world premiere of Super Mario Brothers 3. Phenomenal. Can never forget that. It blew my mind seeing Mario 3 for the first time in a movie.
I love a commercial within a piece of media. Absolutely. Mac and Me, the Wizard, all of that. Wonderful.
Second one.
Yeah.
It's still in I got to take it out of the wrapping.
Okay.
You ever heard of the Barbarian Brothers?
Oh, I know the Barbarian Brothers. Absolutely.
They made this movie called Twin Sitters, where they get hired by this rich executive to watch his twin kids when he goes out of town, and then the bad guys come looking for him, and then that spells trouble for the Barbarian Brothers
with a capital T.
Phenomenal.
Oh my
Definitely
goodness.
Watch it.
That's my goodness. Beautiful.
This was previous Shucks Video Club.
That's where it came from?
Yeah. Shucks. Chinooks.
Shucks with an S or a C?
Chinooks, I guess. SCHNUCKS.
Oh, all right. I thought it was Chucks, like the guy who I bought my bike from.
No, I don't know if you could see it. Chinooks.
Chinooks, okay.
Chinooks.
You ever been to Chuck's Bike-O-Rama?
No, where's that at?
This girl Dottie works over there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm a rebel, Dottie.
Yeah.
I'm a loner. I don't talk to her. Joey, what if I told you there's a movie out there? It's got RoboCop, Judge Dredd, the Terminator, all mixed in to a robotic officer tactical operations research Rotor.
Rotor! I know that cover. I have not seen the movie. Is that my going to bed movie tonight?
You watch Rotor tonight, and
all right.
Drop kicking, sidekicks galore with the greatest robot cop you'll ever see this side of a Paul Verhoeven movie.
All right. I love it, Marty. As always, thank you for the inspiration. Hey, Marty, you like cereal?
Of course.
What's your favorite cereal?
That's a good question. I don't know. I never thought about it. I'm a CT Crunch kind of guy.
Yeah.
I like Golden Grams and Cookie Crisp, the 3 pillars of a balanced breakfast.
Well, I have a cereal expert, if you will, from Texas. All right. Do you have your Old Spice on? Well, you don't use you use the Brute or the High Karate. Here we go.
Mostly High Karate these days.
Elena, can we please bring in our resident cereal expert? Mr. Grape Ape, Matt Robertson. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him from the Reavers Express, from Rules as Written, a guy that I really love. I can't wait to give this guy a hug in person and feel the glory of the beard. Mr. Robertson, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Joey. Thanks for having me on tonight. I'm happy to be here.
It's an honor to have you. You have had an amazing year on the Goodman Twitch. You and Stephanie holding down with Rules of Written. That's a really cool format for a show. The last one you did, not last night, that was great. The one before, I think blood pressure medication amongst the gaming community went up by 50%, the stock. You had how many people? 9 people arguing rules?
8 guests total, so we had 6 special guests on, and you can see even within the community, all these juggernauts, there's still differing opinions.
I'm glad that wasn't in person, because I think a chair would have been thrown. They're all gentlemen, but I'll tell you, it got heated. One of the greatest things about your show is, well, let's check the handout. You are so prepared. You have everything like Exhibit A. So you've taught me a lot from that show.
I've got to, because otherwise Bob will eat me up. So I gotta have my facts straight.
But now you're on the pizza party where we do things a little bit loose. We're here to talk about this man, Frankenberry.
Right there. Stand it up!
There you go. Great Bape is standing up. Frankenberry. He wrote so much I couldn't put it on one sheet. I'm going to compile it into a pamphlet and I'm going to put it out. And I keep on telling everybody they're coming. I'm just making sure they all look nice. Matt, give us the lowdown on Frankenberry as an NPC or monster.
What was it too much? Did I write too much?
No, I loved it. You got a whole lore and everything.
Yeah, so Frankenberry, he's a little slow. I'll give you the history. He's created in the lab of the ancients before the planet was known as Terra AD, and he's been forced to live in complete solitude for 971 years before he got out.
Poor guy.
During the Great Collapse, the facility was, trapped under millions of pounds of rock and debris. Frankenberry was forced to live off the amaranth wheat in the agricultural department. That's what gives him that pink pigmentation to his skin. Joey, real life fact.
Yeah.
Do you know that when Frankenberry first came out, it was reported that kids had pink poo?
Really?
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they had to recall like an entire line of Frankenberry because the amaranth wheat from the amaranth plant, it was in the Frankenberry, and so
really
it wasn't harmful. It wasn't harmful, but it freaked everybody out.
Well, what a manifestation of a patron.
I wish I could have had a box of that cereal because who doesn't want pink poo?
Quote of the night. Ding! That's all, folks. Oh my goodness. Now you did something interesting too. You brought in one of my favorites, Mr. Booberry. Hello. How does he appear in this whole thing?
So after being trapped in the facility for 230 years, someone we know got into the facility, running away from a group of seekers. Frankenberry developed a very tense companionship with this intruding demon, but he was down there by himself, so, he had to make friends with somebody. He had to talk to somebody. This blood-drinking fiend mentally tortured the gentle giant, and a burning anger and hatred developed in Frankenberry. And after a century of manipulation, the vampire's final act of abuse was to transform the construct by feeding Frankenberry his corrupted blood. So now Frankenberry is a hybrid undead, part vampire.
Maron. Matt, is there any way his soul can be saved at this point?
It's possible. It's possible. So after Count Chocula did all these nasty things to Frankenberry and then left him, he was trapped in the facility alone again. But the mixing of these mutated energies that were unleashed by failing safety protocols and overheating reactors,
obviously
613 years after the facility was being buried, Frankenberry was introduced to the second entity he'd ever known in his existence, a bodiless voice in the darkness, a spiritual energy that pulsed with the collective power of thousands of lost souls. Boo had watched Frankenberry for hundreds of years, watched him as he fed off the rats and snakes, trying to stem the hunger for blood. And only when the golem had finally given up and attempted to destroy himself did Booberry reveal himself by appearing out of the furnace Frankenberry had built a blaze into with a playful boop.
Well done. Standing ovation for Mr. Robertson. Oh, man, we have gotten some good submissions. This one really grabbed my heart. It grabbed my heart so much, Mr. Robertson, that you are getting my set of General Mills Cause Monsters. We've got Frankenberry. We got Booberry. We got Count Chocula. And we have, everybody's talking about him in the chat, Fruit Brute. So, my thanks to you, Matt. I know you love a good contest, and I know you love premiums. You're one of us.
There's a fifth one. There was a mummy, right?
There was a yummy mummy. He was not released, so you had to send away for these. There was a contest recently. I won. You get my my gratitude and my premiums coming down to Texas for you this week, buddy. Okay,
Joey, I am honored.
You're
honored.
welcome. You wouldn't have got him if it wasn't for cousin Marty.
That's
I'm the one
true.
that told him.
Cousin Marty told me about the
much.
secret codes. I was on there like I was on the episode from Lost, typing in the code multiple times a day so I could get them. So
Yeah,
they're going for a pretty penny on eBay now too.
It's not a contest because we both won.
Yeah, well, it's a contest. You had to contribute. Listen,
pretty
don't break my heart. All right, I never won a lot of contests. I told you that. It was only that Gremlins 2 poster from Sunkist.
Yeah.
Now, I did put some stats for Frankenberry, but I want to talk about it a little bit. Initially, when you see he's out now, he's out amongst the Terra AD, tearing stuff up, and he's not a good guy. He's in the shadows hiding. Initially, when you encounter him, you'll smell the sweet scent of strawberries. And you might be confused how such an odor might exist in a dark, dank dungeon. It's only hearing that gruff whisper from behind your shoulder saying, "How about a monster for breakfast today?" that you realize how much trouble you're in.
Yes.
Now, Frankenberry has, I don't know if you know, Joey, but he's got these little strawberry kind of tattoos on his fingernails.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah.
And so he's got a little thing where he can pull his fingernails out like a garrote and, wrap it around somebody's neck with the sinew and tendon from the nails.
I did not see that coming. That's awesome.
That is one of his special attacks. Now, the other thing is that Booberry left the facility of the Ancients with him, kind of possessing Frankenberry. The hunger for blood being like the demon on his shoulder, and Booberry trying to save Frankenberry's soul, what may remain of it. So on a successful attack, Booberry can try to take possession of a target at range. And if Booberry takes possession of one of these PCs, he's going to try to get them to flee, to run away. Now, they, of course, can make a will save to stay in the fight, but Booberry's trying to save their life because, Frankenberry, he's pretty tough. He's pretty strong.
That is awesome. And Matt, you don't mind if I post this up on the website?
Oh, no, not at all.
All right. I love it. Thank you very much. Thank you for being an inspiration to me. Can you stick around for a little bit?
Absolutely.
Because I got another fruit brute that's about to pop up here. Put on the Old Spice because my buddy's back. One of my greatest inspirations in the world. It came from Planet X, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, do not fear, do not be frightened. Here he comes. We're going to be enlightened. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way down from Maryland, we have Mr. Levi Combs. Give him a round of applause. How we doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'll tell you what. Your social media presence is nothing but good. It is inspirational. All of you, that's how I start my day every day. I go through your Instagram and it's like, I remember that. I got to watch that. This is inspiring, this and that. Buddy, you are changing lives just by pressing buttons, among other things.
I don't know, man. That speech that you gave earlier was pretty inspiring. Like I was like legit getting a little choked up thinking about my 12-year-old self knocking on my front door and saying, "Hey, would you play this? Is this something that you would find cool?" I mean, the answer is hopefully yes. But man, that was a good speech, man. That was inspiring. I wish I heard that every morning. That's what I wish I was hearing.
Well, we're here for each other. We're here to inspire each other. It's like we're collecting all of our friends from all over the globe. We live in a time where we can kind of build our own neighborhood now. It's kind of cool. We got our own little cul-de-sac going on. So
for sure.
You are one of the most prolific and inspirational creative guys in the biz. You just finished your latest Kickstarter, right?
I did. It was for DCC actually.
Yes, it was.
An occurrence at Howling Crater.
And where are you in terms of time frame with that?
Well, I had a Zoom conversation with Jeff Seifert today. He's been in the community a ton and been in the community for a long time. And we were just kind of talking about just kind of fine tuning, some little things, because that project is really, it's like I always describe it as, if the hills have eyes, you know, had a baby with Plan 9 from Outer Space. It's a real strange vibe, but it's a vibe that I love. So
sold. Marty, guess what?
What's that, Joey?
It comes with a barf bag.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, of course you know. You got all the barf bags. Me and
I
Marty
have a couple of those old Hammer horror barf bag. I have one for Mark of the Devil.
I got the Mark of the Devil one too. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was one for, I want to say it's Exorcist 2.
Really?
The Heretic. I believe I see that at 3, but I think it's the Heretic. Yeah.
Well, it's probably 2 because the movie sucks so bad they had to like get people in there somehow.
Yeah, there is a wide divide between The Exorcist and Exorcist 3, as far as like that one in the middle is terrible. But the first one and the third one, they're pretty cherry.
Marty, the second one when the locusts were coming in, eating everything.
That was which one was that? I never saw number 2. I've only seen 1 and 3.
Was 2 when the locusts were all coming in and eating all the crops and just
Yes. So hold on. Oh my gosh.
This is the thing. Nobody remembers 2.
I remember that
maybe,
Linda Blair has
Exorcist 2.
No, she has that silly thing on her head for half the movie that's like reading her thoughts or whatever. It's a horrible movie.
She's like in the lab. Yeah.
They must have literally like just backed up a truck right up to her door and just dumped all the money.
That's when she was chilling with Rick James and going skiing all the time.
Yeah.
Oh man. And now you have another project about to kickstart, right?
Yeah, so I have a long slate of things that I've wanted to do. In the last couple of years, I've had a lot of time to just really. I have a lot of stuff backlogged. I've had a lot of time to write. Just been lucky in that fashion. And the next thing I have is this. It's a zine for Zine Quest, but it's called Dungeon Malarkey. I was really going to call it the Anarchist Cookbook because it's based off that famous counterculture.
Well, that's the image. The cover looks just like it.
I was going to call it
my junior high school heart right away when I saw that.
I was going to call it the Alchemist Cookbook or the Arcanist Cookbook or something of that nature. But turns out that there's a small publishing company in Arkansas that bought all the rights to that stuff, and they're very litigious. So just to be safer than sorry, I went with Dungeon Malarkey.
The Anarchist Cookbook people are litigious. Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, great,
it's crazy.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that. Yeah. But it's a lot of the same stuff that you see me do. It's an illustrated guide to kind of weird hazards and unusual monsters and curious magical items and magical plants, bizarre spell components, that sort of thing. That's very, very inspired by the literature of the old Appendix N. Yeah, a lot of inspiration comes from there, and centuries of folklore and legend and myth and so on. It all kinds of blends together. It's good if you're a world builder or a game master, or you just like to read cool stuff. Do you want to know what biodiversity looks like in a weird fantasy campaign? Well, this is your book.
That's awesome, man. You just keep on pumping out quality. That's the thing. Some people just want to make just to get the numbers up, but every time you do it with quality. The phylactery, everything under the phylactery is just so cool and inspiring.
No, if you look at some of my titles, you'll see some stuff and you're like this is a weird choice for your next project. It's just because I wanted to do it. Like that King Tut's Rootin' Tootin' Weird West Extravaganza. That's such an offbeat book, but I just wanted to do it. You're talking about that 12-year-old at your door.
Exactly. That's why like you're on this month. Have you ever started just with a title and then work back from the title? Because your titles are so perfect.
Joey, so here's a secret. I start with a title every time and work back.
There you go.
Every single one.
There you go.
I have a note on a note function on my phone, and it's literally like 100 titles of things I think sound cool. And there might be like a nugget or an idea.
I love it.
And then I'll just work back from that, like Dungeon Malarkey. That's actually a title that I didn't come up with. I was playing with a guy online, and he referred to something as Dungeon Malarkey, and I said, "Stop!" I was like, it was Alex Murray. And I said, hey, that is genius. I love the way that sounds. I was like, do you mind if I, if I write that in my little book, and could I develop an idea? He's like, of course. And then here we are 2 years later, and I'm like, it's time for Dungeon Malarkey.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's funny. I'm sorry. I'm obsessed with this Rick Rubin book, but I'm only in the first couple of pages, but he talks about an artist attuning themselves to filter in all the source material that they're encountering every single day, not actively, just the stuff that comes in. But you got to start thinking that way. And I've gotten so many good ideas from that. The ideas, like this, the words out of my friends' mouths, just joking around, what that can blossom into. Just grab that stuff, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a deep dive into some arcane, dusty text about the history of dragons. It's like, it can be something that flops out of your friend's mouth over a bowl of chili, can be the next adventure that warms hearts.
Listen, I wrote a 4-panel pamphlet module the other day called Bong Wizards and Burger Clowns. Just because it sounded cool. And it was in my book for about a year, and I was like, oh, let me see what I can do with this. And it was just like a kind of an exercise for that morning. Before I knew it, I had enough stuff for a 4-panel like pamphlet module.
Beautiful.
So
it reminds me of Max Sabbath. I was listening to them the other day. I was showing my kids Max Sabbath, the Black Sabbath cover band run by McDonald's characters.
I absolutely. Second only to Hatebeak. To
who?
Hatebeak. They're
I'm a huge Hatebeak fan.
There we go.
I got them on vinyl. I got most of the Hatebeak catalog. Baltimore's finest.
No doubt about it. I want to. I can't believe how fast this went by already. I'm going to have everybody on again. So Levi, that is a Kickstarter that's coming down the road. It's not out yet, right?
No, not out yet, but I mean, starting February 1st for Zine Quest.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it'll pop up. And the links are all over my social media, so you can sign up, yada, yada.
Great, babe. How about you? What are you working on currently?
I'm working on the Golden Idol of Entradar, little module that came up from an episode of Reaver Express that we had, and I had to create a map for them in Dungeon Alchemist. They go all over the place, and so nothing's scripted. It's open sandbox.
Nice.
And so I always got to have stuff prepared for whatever direction they go in, and they usually go in the direction that I don't have stuff prepared. But this time I kind of directed them to this little. Underneath this tavern, there's a golden idol that benefits the establishment and makes whatever the food is being served taste the most scrumptious, and the beds are the softest. So it's got a whole magical quality about it that benefits the innkeeper. And in the city, they have competitions to see who can keep this idol in their establishment. And so they'll send adventuring parties to try to take it from the other end, and that's what this whole thing is about.
That's awesome, man. That's so much more than just going in and killing stuff. And folks, if you want to get a quick 101 about how to run a game, especially when you got a whole bunch of different players all wanting to do different stuff, Matt Robertson gives a masterclass in thinking on his feet. So check out Reaver Express, check out Rules is Written, and all the good stuff that he does there. Now, Marty, I want to give you a slap on the back. You have a new item that's out that we're going to be hawking at Total Con in Marlborough, Massachusetts, representing DCC RPG, representing Get Haunted Industries, representing Don't Tell Mom and Dad, representing Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland. Levi, you're going to be there, aren't you?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, buddy. So
we got the Total Con covers in.
Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland
soft
Total
cover
Con edition.
Total Con edition cover. Come
Look,
down
to the Mutant Ninja Turtles action figure back right there. You know it. You got
this is actually it is the Genesis back. The Turtles back's on the Total Carnage edition cover.
Oh, Total Carnage. Okay. All right. So with this product, with the Total Con edition of Neon Lords, how many actual covers are there? I know that the interior is mostly the same. You got some other adventures in there, right?
So this is the 4th cover.
All right. Collect them all, folks.
Yeah.
Collect them all. Children of the 80s. We have to have every edition, every color. Pump it up. Oh,
The next
that
one's gonna be
reminds-
glow in the dark too.
It does?
No, the next one.
The next one. Okay, the next one's going to go in the dark. Then
Yep.
you're going to have a hypercolor one. But, hey, I can't forget about this. Stat it up for February. I've been watching a lot of promos. I'm going to take the plane. Here we go. Here is your next Stat It Up challenge. The warrior, the ultimate warrior. Here he is, the Dingo Warrior. Somebody stat this guy up. This is the mighty deed incarnate. All right? Come up with something cool. Send it to me. Lord Blood, LORD, BLUDD at gmail.com. Come on the show. Get a prize. We'll slap each other around, and it'll be awesome. We're going to wrap up. So before we wrap up, Neon, I'll go with Levi first. Levi, message for your inner 12-year-old.
I mean, it sounds corny, but just believe in yourself. Yeah, don't listen to those negative thoughts that say that you can't, that you won't, that you don't. Don't let that like specter of you know, hey, you can't do that, or you're not good enough. Don't let that hang over you for too long. Sit with it for a minute, acknowledge it, and then kick its ass to the curb.
Yeah, I like it. Grape Ape, 12-year-old Grape Ape is standing in that doorway.
Well, first I got to tell you, Joey, the Ultimate Warrior, when it, as a kid, you used to bang on the ropes like that, and then I'd be jumping off the couch in my underoos on my dad's, shoulder, giving him the elbow drop. Ultimate Warrior is outstanding.
Yes, he is.
But speaking of my 12-year-old self, I was a little bit of a rough child. I got in some fights. I was always out there getting in trouble, and I was trying to claim my respect. Even, I was growing up with a kid, a single parent in Milwaukee. I'd be running around doing what I want. My mom was working 2 or 3 jobs. So it was rough. If somebody would have taught me, if I could teach my 12-year-old self anything, would be to give respect to others. It doesn't cost me. It doesn't cost me anything to give respect, right? But once I give the respect initially, then I can expect respect back. And so it doesn't cost. I always say sir and ma'am, to usually whoever I'm talking about. And I didn't learn that later until the military. And then I didn't really apply it to my life until even older, in my 30s, after I'd matured quite a bit. But if I could teach my young self anything back then, was that I don't need to fight for respect, to give respect first, and then I can get respect back.
Well put, Matt. Thank you for that. Cousin Marty.
Don't throw away your Ninja Turtles. Keep all your VHSs and buy every Alpha, Beta, Unlimited card you can get your hands on.
I love it. I love it. Hey, I love you all. Happy New Year 2023. Stick with me. We're going to go on a weird, wild ride. Okay? I love you all. Elena, thank you so much for making this happen. Send us out, Cousin Marty.
Oh, no, I don't have it set up. I'll have to next time.
Okay. Well, how about this?
I had my Ninja Turtles.
Don't forget your 12-year-old self. Take care of yourself and let all the critics go pound sand. Ciao, paisans!